Heartbreaking news is coming out of Long Island from yesterday, Sunday. A man killed 4 members of his family before he took his own life, and this was shortly after his mother's funeral. Reportedly, 59-year-old Joe Dece Jr. opened fire with a shotgun inside the family home, and this was yesterday, August 25th, on Sunday, just before noon in Long Island. He murdered 3 of his siblings and his niece as they gathered at his mom's home, and they were discussing plans for her estate. Joe was said to have been really upset because he knew he was about to have to leave the home because it said in the will, the mother's will, that the home must be sold and whoever's living in it must move out. He was not happy with that. He had reportedly lived with his mom, 95-year-old Teresa DeLucia, before she died, and she had just died last week. And I read he had lived there his whole life. But if his siblings ended up selling the home, he'd have to find somewhere else to go. And from what I gather in his mind, he didn't think he had anywhere else to go. He leveled a pump-action Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun at his 3 siblings, who have been identified as 69-year-old Joanne Kearns of Tampa, Florida, 64-year-old Frank DeLucia of Durham, North Carolina, and 64-year-old Tina Hammond, and she was living in Long Island too. He killed them inside the den of his mother's home. Furthermore, he also murdered his 30-year-old niece, Victoria Hammond. And that was before he ran out in the front yard and turned the gun on himself. He was pronounced deceased at the scene, and authorities found him with a self-inflicted GSW to his chest. It was said right before he took his life, a neighbor heard him screaming, like this wailing, high-pitched scream in the yard, so they called 911. They said they heard a high-pitched scream and it was him, but they never thought this would have happened. Neighbors said they heard that he was very, very upset over the selling of the home and that he didn't know where to go because he had lived there his whole entire life. But it was also said that one of his sisters even stated that she would take him in and take care of him, that he could come live with her, but I guess he did not want that. Now, guys, I think he had some mental issues. I know he had some mental issues, according to reports at least. I'm not sure, why he lived at home up until this point in his life. I'm not sure if he was disabled in any way. I know he held down jobs, but there was definitely some mental disorders going on. Investigators also had been told that Joe had really bad past mental problems. Neighbors said it just got worse after his mom's death. I know one time, I think I read it was in 2022, they were called to the home for a welfare check, but it was nothing like this. He was reportedly a former EMT, but he currently worked at an auto body shop, and I think he might have owned that shop. Police also said he was a hoarder, said there were tools and auto parts all over the home. Reportedly, Joe fired 13 shots in total, 12 at his family and 1 at himself. Authorities said he did have to reload at least once. I can't imagine the fear they were going through. It was said that just before he took his own life, he grabbed his mother's favorite old white painted metal chair that she always sat in on the patio, and he drug it out to the front yard where he sat down and then shot himself. It was also said he did not take his medication on Saturday. That was apparently really bad when he skipped get days, according to his family and neighbors. Psychiatric medicine was indeed found inside the home by authorities. Many people stated that he definitely planned this. Neighbors even said that Joe told them, if you hear gunshots, don't bother calling 911 because it's going to be too late. I also read that on Facebook he had posted quite a few posts that might have led into his state of mind or gave a glimpse into his state of mind in the few days before the deaths. He also allegedly kept mentioning to family, that he would take his life, but I guess they never thought that he would. Or definitely at least not anybody else's. They said they explained to him, we don't do that, take your medicine. It was said he also had a license plate that said depressed, and he posted that license plate on Facebook too. Police said they wish they would have known some of these signs, so maybe it would not have happened. I can't imagine the rest of the pain this family is feeling. My prayers definitely go out to all of them. For more true crime, don't forget to give me a follow and check out my website at www.truecrimewithmegan.com.